Welcome everyone to the No Cell Wrestling podcast. My name is Tequila, otherwise known as Tequila the Body Ventura. I'm joined by my mate Rebel and my mate Alan. How are we doing today, lads?
Doing good.
Yeah, I just caught up on NXT this morning, and that was interesting. And of course, there was a whole pile of events that lead up to Elimination Chamber on Raw. So it's been an interesting week in the world of WWE, hasn't it?
It has, and there's still one more show to come. So this is obviously Wednesday, so technically this is the preview, but something could happen that maybe we don't know about on the Friday that could change the card, but I don't think so. All the elimination spots have been taken now, so we do have the final card as it stands. Who knows? Then maybe they'll do something, but I don't think they're going to add any more matches. There's no Universal title match. The McIntyre's not defending it, so you never know. They could decide out of nowhere to throw another match on the card, but it doesn't look like it. And 4 matches normally, especially when they're gimmick matches, normally that is what you get nowadays on most of the PLEs. Firstly, let me do the housekeeping. Remember to like, subscribe. We are a new channel, obviously. It is only our second show. Colm is not here today. Normally he would be, but unfortunately he's busy. So you are left with just me, Rebel, and Alan. So remember to like, subscribe, spread the word if you like your wrestling. There's a combination of different age groups. Me and Alan, slightly older than Rebel, not that much, bless him. So me and Alan obviously grew up watching certain wrestling from the late 80s, early 90s. Rebel, I think you came into it a tad bit later than that, so you are going to get a couple of different perspectives and stuff like that. We've got loads of good shows planned, so many topics. We've brainstormed so many topics. We've got enough shows to do years worth, I reckon, with all the lists that we've seen. But Elimination Chamber 2026. Firstly, before we talk about the matches,
Okay.
How have you found the build for this show? Because I think it's been poor.
I agree. I think it's been a very, very, very poor build. It's been rife with problems. I mean, look at Raw this past week.
Well,
I think Bronson Reed was due to win that match, wasn't he, before he went down with the injury?
Indeed, yeah, and Jey Uso had to step in.
Now, unfortunately, we're going to get that run it back nonsense.
Don't. If he does
in an elimination chamber match, like he did in the Rumble.
If he does it during the match, right, I'm going to lose it, and you'll hear me lose it if we're watching it live, which we might be streaming it live. You're going to hear me lose it if he does it. Kev, Rebel, the build. Is it just that the build for the whole year? Royal Rumble had a poor build. WrestleMania so far, other than the Reigns and Punk, who only had one segment, that the build for WrestleMania is not looking great either. Is it just this month, or is it just that for some reason their foot's off the gas, and you wouldn't think it would be? What's your feelings on it for this show?
I'm just kind of looking at the overall picture this year, and I think they've had to swerve and pivot so many times because of absolutely bammy injuries that have come out of nowhere. And I think it's pretty much ruined any kind of forward planning that they had. Obviously, they would have had a plan B, a plan C, but we're into D, E, and F at this stage with some of them. Like, when I just look at the card in general, obviously the 2 chamber matches, the build is going to be the build. It was the elimination matches in the weeks preceding, so you can't really put a whole pile of storyline into that. You could probably make sure maybe that you had a bit of ick between a couple of people in the chamber ahead of time, say get Randy and LA Knight up against each other, but they didn't do a whole pile of kind of banter or structure between 2 of the components of their chamber matches, which I think they missed the trick on. Pardon the pun, because I know Trick Williams is in the Elimination Chamber, but then when I look at the Becky versus AJ Lee, I know we've had the whole thing with Seth. I know we've had kind of a few bits of teasing. Now, we know that AJ Lee's kind of in and out. She's got a kind of a whole side business, but main business that she does with regards to going around doing talks and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But they could probably have had, even if they didn't get to have it live, kind of recorded a few kind of bits and pieces between Becky and AJ before all that. So again, I feel like that one, they could have ratcheted it up a small bit, because if they knew they were going that way, then there was opportunity there. And then the main event, Finn Balor. I hope there's a payday to what they're doing with Finn, because if they Shinsuke Nakamura him and bring him to the boil just to drop him in the water again, it's going to be detrimental to his character. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. We have 4 matches on an Elimination Chamber. We have no bit of skullduggery between some of the component parts, bar 2 of the matches. And the one thing I want to get your thoughts on, the Tiffany Stratton match. Forget it. We'll talk about the match itself later on, the one which the other girls in the Elimination Chamber.
Mm.
The feeling out there is, how can you put any one of those up against the SmackDown Women's Champion Jade Cargill? Because she's been through the majority of them, and again, the ones that she hasn't, there's been no engagement. So you're trying to build a whole rivalry between Chamber and Mania now, if they pick one of the people that hasn't faced her before.
Yeah. Okay.
Fair point.
Yeah, well, and we'll certainly discuss it. In fact, we might even start there first. Right. So we don't know the match order. The way they normally do these things, they're not going to have 2 chamber matches. If we assume that Punk versus Balor goes on last, normally if they weren't in Chicago, I would say it wouldn't, and I would say that the men's chamber would go on last. But because it is Chicago, I think Punk versus Balor probably closes the show. So let's start with I don't know the run order. This is just what I think the run order is going to be. I think the first match is going to be the women's chamber match.
Yeah, that's a given.
Right. So let me read the participants, just in case anyone didn't know. The participants are, and this is always subject to change. You never know that the way people are falling injury wise. You never know. But as of right now on Wednesday, it's Tiffany Stratton, it's Asuka, it's my girl Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, and surprisingly, Kiana James, who is probably the surprise option there. I expected Charlotte to go through. I'm actually quite shocked that she did not. I'm very shocked, in fact. So who wants to go first on this one? If you want to put obviously the winner, who the last elimination is, and who do you think is going to start the match? Alan, there you go. You go first, mate, on this one.
Okay. Who do I think is going to start?
Normally they put the workhorses in, don't they? The ones they trust enough to do the bulk of the match.
Right. I don't think Kiana James is going to start. I think she's going to come in like 3rd or 4th. I think the match is going to start with Tiffany Stratton, and I'm going to say Alexa Bliss to start that match.
Okay.
Because I think they both can go the distance. I can't see Asuka's, she's quite seasoned. I don't think she will start. I think she will probably might be the last one coming in, if not the 3rd one. So yeah, that's my choice. Those are my choices. As in terms of the winner, well, do we go Rhea Ripley? Is she the one to take it and go to WrestleMania again for that shot?
What do you think, Alan? I mean, she's the biggest. I think
just she's the biggest name.
Pure popularity wise, she's the number 1 woman in the company.
Yeah. As soon as you hear "This Is My Brutality," that's it. The crowds just go mad. They go absolutely wild since she comes out. It's a hell of a pop she gets. So I think, business wise, it makes sense for her to go through to WrestleMania. But I would like to see Alexa Bliss win. Because I think Alexa Bliss, she's been around the block quite a lot. So, and she's been away. I think she needs a title, not just the tag titles, which she had with Charlotte. I think she needs a proper singles run. Again, I said that about AJ Styles, and look what happened there.
Yeah. Okay. Big up to Com in the chat. Hey, mate. Hope you're okay. He picks Alexa Bliss. I'll go next. I'll go next, Rebel, and then you can go. You can follow up. I think, see, Alexa Bliss, as much as I like her, I don't consider her a workhorse. I think the wrestling part of her act is the weakest part. I think she's a good promo, especially as a heel, and she's a very attractive woman. So she's got the look and she's got the promo. I think her wrestling is actually the part that lets her down in the package of Alexa Bliss. So I don't think she'll start the match at all. I think it'd be Tiffany Stratton and Asuka. I consider those two probably the two ones who've got the most stamina, even though I am far from, I do not I'm not going to spend the whole time ragging on Stratton, but I don't see what other people see in her. I don't. I flat out just do not get it.
Yeah, I agree.
The appeal
I'm like
is
that with the Sky, to
in
be
that
honest.
woman. As for who starts, yeah, I'm gonna go Asuka and Tiffany Stratton. Who wins? I think I have to rule out Alexa Bliss because I think she's going to be doing something with Charlotte, either one-on-one or they're going to be as a tag team. Asuka, the same thing in the Kabuki Warriors. She's going to be in a tag title match, I think. And that's also why I'm also ruling out Rhea Ripley, because she is currently one half of the women's tag champions with Io Sky. So if I think to myself, if they make it Rhea Ripley, then Io Sky's got nothing to do. And if you haven't heard Triple H loves Io Sky, right? So those two are more or less joined at the hip until they eventually break up and feud, which will happen probably some point this year, I'm sure. But as of right now, they're the tag team champions. So I just can't see them making it Rhea Ripley, even though that for me probably is the biggest match they could do when it comes to star power. Two very obviously quite big women. Jade Cargill obviously is a big woman. Rhea Ripley's obviously a big lady. So you can see them doing the whole build up, like, you know, two Goliaths. You can see the build already.
Yeah, there could be the SummerSlam match, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm sure that match will happen. But I just think that Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, because they're the tag champions, because they're involved in the whole tag team scenario. And again, if Rhea Ripley were to go and win this, that leaves nothing for Io Sky to do. And Triple H loves Io Sky. There's no way that she won't be on the card. So I think because of that, I'm going to go with a very, very depressing choice for me. I think Tiffany Stratton wins and gets her rematch for the title, because if you remember, it was Jade Cargill who beat her for the belt, and then Stratton took a couple of months off before she came back at the Rumble. So technically, you could say there is still a story there, even though I'm not interested in the slightest. So Stratton will eliminate Raquel Rodriguez, because I think she'll be the one who I think gets the most eliminations. It wouldn't surprise me if Kiana James could also get a couple of eliminations as well. But I think Stratton will eliminate Rodriguez at the end. That would be my final picks. Okay. Kev? Rip?
Yeah, here's my starting two. I reckon this is how I would do it now, and then I might just give how I think the company will do it afterwards. I'd start with Asuka and Tiffy, have them kind of do the early sparring. Third woman in, Raquel Rodriguez. Fourth woman in, Bliss. Fifth woman in, Kiana. With the first elimination being Kiana before Rhea gets into the chamber. And while the door's open, I see Miss Flair doing Alexa Bliss in, setting up their WrestleMania match. And Alexa also being eliminated just as Rhea Ripley enters the chamber. So that leaves you with Raquel, Tiffy, Asuka, and Rhea. Next woman out will be Tiffy, followed by Asuka. And then you'll obviously have the big burly meat version of the women's division slogging it out for however long that's left in the match. And I reckon it'll be Raquel Rodriguez, because the side, as Tequila said, I reckon Rhea is going to be tied and tethered to Io until at least after Mania. So I reckon they go with size versus size in terms of Raquel and the Jade Cargill. But it also feeds into what they're kind of thinking on. Will there be some element of a third wheel in that Jade Cargill story? Because I'm not sure having a Raw superstar kind of taking the plunge is the way that they want to go. So I could see it sort of a triple threat where somebody in SmackDown plays their way into that WrestleMania match. But I reckon they pull the trigger on separating Charlotte and Bliss, because they need Charlotte back as a singles competitor.
Interesting. My only thought about that, Rebel, I agree with a lot of what you said, makes sense, is that unless they add a third factor, Rodriguez versus Cargill is heel versus heel, and they rarely do those matches, especially on pay-per-view.
But I think when you look at the options that are available to face Jade, I think that is going to be their direction, that there is going to be the supplying babyface that'll come in and fill that gap and that need. It won't be a head-to-head if it's a Rodriguez. So I do agree with you wholeheartedly on that front. It won't be heel versus heel, but I reckon they'll set the chessboard up for whatever they plan to do with whatever babyface comes in from SmackDown to fill that void.
Do you think they could? I mean, I've gone with Stratton versus Cargill. Do you think they could do a kind of a fuck finish where a double? I don't like these things in the chamber matches, but if they did like a double finish, a double pin or something, where Stratton and Rodriguez could kind of pin each other, and that sets up a triple. I don't like this. I think it actually takes away from the whole chamber thing, but to set up a triple threat, that gets you out of the whole heel versus heel thing. Maybe.
But here's the other thing. We're also getting that build with a certain former TNA superstar and a certain Jade Cargill in SmackDown. So that's where I think your babyface is.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's our prediction for the first match. Now, the second match, again, I'm just going to do it in the order I think. I think it's going to be for the women's intercontinental title. AJ Lee versus the man, Becky Lynch. Kev, do you want to go first on this one?
Yeah,
we kind of talked about it earlier, but yeah, continue. Yeah.
Obviously, Becky is an Irish girl, and we are Team Ireland here when it comes to our wrestlers. But I think there's going to be shenanigans in this one. I think that we're going to get a WrestleMania match out of this. I don't see Becky dropping the belt at Chamber. I do see her dropping it to AJ Lee, but not at Chamber. I reckon we're going to see some sort of a third party coming in, or some sort of a DQ where or count out or some skullduggery that will cause that match probably to be nothing more than a segment filler, because I reckon they're going to go heavy on time with the two Chamber and Punk and Bowler. I reckon we could have a short women's IC match, and by short that could be, I'm talking about less than 10 minutes. I think we're going to get a lot of basically pissed off Becky kind of, or maybe we have her favorite ref screw Becky and have a rematch at but I don't like the idea of Becky belt on, Becky belt off, Becky belt on, because I'm not sure they know the long play, because they were forced to put the belt back on Becky after they gave it to Maxine Dupree, because Maxine just did not do anything. I just have to think that because they need to buy time, it's going to be an inconclusive finish between AJ and Becky, and we'll be seeing it run, to quote Mr. Uso, running it back at Mania.
Okay, Al, do you want to go next, mate?
Yeah, sure. I actually agree. I don't think AJ's going to win a title. I think it's going to be some sort of a screw finish, whether it's Becky shenanigans, she rolls her up or something, holds the rope, or Becky gets her ass handed to her and she decides, you know what, I'm done, and walks away. Takes the 10 count. It's definitely a setup for the WrestleMania match, I reckon. Most definitely. So yeah, that's what I'm that's what I'm going to go with.
You think AJ Lee wins by DQ or a count out then?
Yeah, DQ count out.
Okay.
Or a screwy pinfall.
For me, I think they have actually foreshadowed the ending of this match, because I think if you would have asked anyone months ago, this was 100% a WrestleMania match. So then I think to myself, why are they hot-shotting it? And the reason they're hot-shotting it is for one reason. They're in Chicago. That's the only reason. Yeah. Which is her adopted hometown with Punk. And I think WWE nowadays love their moments. And I can already see at the end of the night, and I guess I'm giving away the main event really, but at the end of the night, I can easily see as the logo, as the executive producer Paul Levesque at the bottom of the screen, AJ Lee and CM Punk holding up their titles as the Chicago fans go crazy. I agree. I agree. It will be a very short title reign for AJ Lee, but that is exactly what it has to be because she's a part timer now. She's going to work only a couple of matches a year. This is her first singles match, so it makes perfect sense to put the belt on her in her hometown to get the big pop, which she'll get, and then to get the end of the pop at the end of the show, big pop that they'll get and have that moment. And then she drops it back a month later because that way she hasn't got to go on the road defending it because she's only going to hold it for a month until WrestleMania. And then she drops the belt back to Becky Lynch, most likely in some kind of a gimmick match. I'm thinking maybe an I Quit match, something like that. Because you've got to look at the feud so far, even though it's been start-stop. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch started with the mixed tag back in WrestlePalooza. Who won? AJ Lee. What did she do? She made Becky Lynch submit to the Black Widow. Then she disappears. Then they restart the feud just before War Games. What happens in War Games? AJ Lee makes Becky Lynch submit to the Black Widow. So Becky Lynch has to win this feud because AJ Lee technically has dominated the feud in the ring. She's won everything. She's won every match they've been involved in. And I think she's going to win this one as well. And that will set Becky off over the edge, right? And I can see Becky will start going crazy, like Rebel said, start going crazy, start saying, oh, this is a conspiracy, because that's kind of what her character is nowadays. Always talking about conspiracy, stuff like that. You can see her going into meltdown, right? And then she'll probably, I don't know, come up with an I Quit match, something like that. I think it will be an I Quit match because they've both got submission finishes, really. Becky's got the disarmer, AJ Lee's got the Black Widow, and then Becky Lynch will win the title back, and technically will win the feud, even though technically she only would have won one out of their 4 matches.
And then the problem I have with that tequila though.
What's that?
I when I look at championship belt swapping, and I look at them trying to build the IC championship as a credible mid card title for the women's division for when they rotate the top stars out of the main title picture in order to keep it fresh and all the rest of it. If you're constantly swapping the belt off Becky's shoulder, do you run the risk of inertia, run the risk of boredom with, it's Becky Hogan, she's getting another belt put on her shoulder. Nobody of any real credibility has had any substantial title reign. It's only give it to Joe Blogg's jobber, give it to Joe Blogg's part-timer, then Becky goes crazy and gets belt back. I think because they did this with Maxine, I'm not sure how they could run it back with Becky and AJ doing a swap.
I agree with you that I don't like hot potato in the title. Any title, I don't generally like it. And I don't fully understand the whole reason for the Maxine Dupree to win it. It just gave Becky Lynch something to do for a month. In hindsight, I think that was a very silly title change, full stop. They could have had Maxine Dupree keep beating her by count out and disqualification like she was doing. But actually having her win the belt, you're right, I think that diminished the title. Even though it was actually AJ Lee who helped her win it on Raw. She distracted Becky Lynch, and that was the reason. So again, the whole thing's been about the AJ Lee feud. But I agree with you that ideally, hot shot in the belt will devalue it. And I'm right, but I just can't see any reason whatsoever why they would book this match now and not save it for WrestleMania if they weren't going to put the belt on AJ Lee in Chicago, because everything is 100% aligned. Maybe Alan's right. Maybe she can still win the match. And not the title, but then that deprives them of the moment of having her and Punk holding the belts while Chicago go crazy. And this under TKO especially, they love these moments. They are obsessed with these moments. So that's why I think she wins a belt. If this wasn't Chicago, I'm not sure she'd win it. And if they were only going to have, because nobody thought they were going to have, people just thought it was just going to be one match, one singles match at WrestleMania, and that's it. That's what it was. It was blatantly obvious it was going to do. But then they throw this curveball in there, and I just don't see the point in them throwing this curveball in there unless they were going to put the belt on AJ Lee in our hometown. And also, like I say, AJ Lee is not going to be going on the road defending this belt. So if they do have her beat Becky Lynch for the title at WrestleMania, she ain't going to be defending it. So she's going to be another like Brock Lesnar was, an absent champion who's not around for months.
Well, there's a lot of champions who don't defend at the moment, isn't there?
Well, that's a completely different subject. But no, Rebel makes some good points, and I could easily be wrong. Who knows? But I do think AJ Lee wins the belt in Chicago, holds it for a month, drops it back to Becky Lynch, and then I can see AJ Lee actually going off back into the sunset, because I'm not sure where she really goes after that. I mean, I don't know really, unless she's willing to do a lot more matches and she's going to not be as part-time as it comes across, because ever since she's come back, she's feuded with Becky Lynch the whole time. Every appearance has been about Becky Lynch. So I don't know if there is another feud for her after this. I think this could be it. This could be literally why she came back, for this one feud, and then that's it. She'll be gone.
Well, I can see her feuding with Liv Morgan, maybe.
Well, maybe
that'd be my guess.
Depends. Yeah, it depends it depends how many dates she's signed for.
You're forgetting one person. One that was seen as Punk and AJ's daughter.
Roxanne Perez. Yeah, she would love to have a match. Yeah, but they'd have to build that though. They'd have to build that right now. Other than kind of like Twitter posts and stuff like that. There's the joke being like, she refers to Roxanne Perez as her daughter and stuff like that. But on screen, there's been no real kind of.
Well, I think AJ's contract could be interesting. There's probably it's probably a lot more brand deal and image rights and using her in likes of the games and whatnot. But I reckon like you could probably have her kind of Undertaker moments where she comes in, does her little skip and causes consternation where it's called for. So like there is use for AJ Lee in a part-time, but I think, as you said, I do see her going skippity-doo after she's finished with Becky until they have her next kind of mini sequence again.
Before we move on to the next match, big up to Com again. He says, does Raquel turn face because of what's happening to her faction and to Liv Morgan? Any thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Raquel's too good as a heel.
Yeah, it's true. It's one of the few people I can't see as a face.
Same with Dum Dum. Never going to be a face again. Can't be a face again.
I think that Liv Morgan's more likely to be the one turning face than Raquel, I would have thought.
The closest Dom will get to being a face is to be a tweener. Like Steve Austin. That's the closest he's ever going to get. But yeah, he should stay as a heel.
And Com also says... Sorry, Alan. Sorry, finish what you said, mate.
No, go for it. Go on.
Com says he's gone for AJ Lee winning as well, so they can keep Punk happy. Yeah, that might play a role into it as well. Punk is obviously one of their main draws. So if he wants his wife to win the title, then he probably will. I bet personally, if you ask Punk, he probably wants that moment as well with both of them holding the belts. So that wouldn't surprise me if maybe there's influence there. Right, I was going to leave this for the main event, but out of comedy reasons, I'm not. So I'm going to throw it in the halfway point. The biggest draw of this show. Ready? What's in the box? Alan, tell us what's in the box.
Oh, it's easy. That's an easy question. The gobbledygook is in the box. He's going to come out. He's going to do like a little do-si-do dance, and he's going to start, doing like flips and stuff in the ring. Gobbledygooker.
Gobbledygooker. Okay. Fantastic. Rebel, who's in the box?
I think it's going to be some gimmick related to 2K26. I reckon it's going to be Danhausen holding a copy of the game.
Very good. Very good. That actually makes sense. I was going to say Danhausen, but I just went, I would Gobbledygooker.
I think it's going to be Vince McMahon saying it was me, Austin. It was me all along. No, it's not going to be Vince McMahon. It will be. I think Danhausen's a good shout. Actually, when you mentioned that, Kev, in WhatsApp to me a couple of days ago, I was like, it's a good shout. Very good friends with CM Punk, by the way, in real life. Also big in Chicago. And where is it being held? Chicago. So, that's
and apparently there's a lot of unboxing videos as well. So,
yeah, and Danhausen's character is kind of comic book nerd and everything like that. So it's like it's a goofy thing for them to do, and he is a goofy character. So if they were to make it somebody serious, I don't think people could take it seriously.
No, it just reeks of gimmick, doesn't it? A box out of nowhere gets passed between Raw and SmackDown, and that's going to get shipped off to Chicago for the Elimination Chamber. It's got to be, yeah. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. You can't see the likes of, say, it's not going to be because we know of the contractual problems in AEW, but it's not Chris Jericho. I don't think he would go for something like that.
No. See, somebody thought, oh, it's Jericho's sense of humor. No, he actually, Jericho's very good at picking his moments. Say what you want about him, especially nowadays, right? But he's very good at reinventing himself. He's very good at picking his moments. He would not be doing this, I don't believe, for a second.
Like, it has to be a joke character because, like, any of the new people that they're talking about arriving, they would have different sorts of vignettes, and they wouldn't be doing a hot potato with the box.
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
Con puts in the chat, I would say Blue Meanie, but it's not big enough. Thought he lost weight. Didn't Blue Meanie like really slim down? I'm pretty sure he did. Is he big again now, though? I haven't seen him recently. Con also says Box gets unveiled and MJF or Damien Mizdow steps out dressed like the Miz. MJF, you would debut MJF in a box.
No. MJF's the kind of guy he's the kind of guy who would debut at a WrestleMania or something.
Yeah, and he will at some point in a year or two. 100% he will. Right. Okay. Well, that was the joke halftime gimmick. So I think again because it's Chicago, I think the world title match goes on last. So the men's chamber match. Right. The men's chamber match. Okay. So we've got Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Jey Uso, and LA Knight.
Right.
Kev, when you start off with this one, bro?
Yeah. Okay. The one I don't want it to be, because I'm over this whole Yeet-a-thon, is Jey Uso. But I'll go through who I think starts, and I reckon we get bouncy off the get-go, and there's going to be the NXT twist with Trick. They're going to start the match. You'll have Orton, LA, Cody, and Yeet in the pods, and we're going to see some cool flippy shit from the bouncy one. We're going to see Trick doing a few spots where he gets the crowd all up and cheering, and you're probably going to see Yeet-a-thon in next, I think, and then LA, Cody, and then the Viper. It will be the last thing. First elimination, I think it's going to be Jay, because I don't think he was supposed to be in the match. So I think he goes. They're going to keep the bounty one in for as long as they can, because I think they want to. They see star quality in him. He does some absolutely insane stuff. So I reckon LA Knight, is the second elimination. Then Trick, then the bounty one, and that sets up your Orton and Cody. And even though I know it won't be Orton, I want it to be Orton. They're going to put Cody in Cody Mania and all that. And again, he needs a new stick. He needs a new gimmick. He needs a refresh. I'm tired of current Cody, but I just don't see how they're going to avoid putting him in there. It should be Orton. It has to be Orton, but it won't be Orton.
Okay. Do you want me to go next, Alan? Or
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so I think the two who are going to start it off, I think Trick Williams is going to be the Iron Man in the match. I think they're really going to go all out on trying to make him look as good as possible. I think he probably starts with Jey Uso. I'm saying that because then Jey Uso can do his rewind stuff at the start of the match, which I suppose I have to put up with, and not actually during the match, which will give me a hernia if he does it during the match. And then I won't give you the orders of the people coming in, I suppose. I mean, I could. I think Javon Evans is going to he's going to be a highlight reel, but I don't think he's actually going to last in the match long. I can easily see him coming in 4th or 5th, maybe even the last person coming in, does all these fancy moves, tries one on Randy Orton RKO'd him. You know that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to go for a big move and he's getting RKO'd. I can see him maybe being the first or second elimination, but he's going to have a 5-minute period when he's going to come in and to do this bunch of spectacular stuff on all the guys, and then he's going to get caught and RKO'd. As for the winner, I actually do think it's going to be Randy Orton. I think I can see the last three being Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Trick Williams. I can see Cody Rhodes eliminating Trick Williams. Door opens. I think Alan called this a couple of days ago. All of a sudden, there's a Claymore from Drew McIntyre right into Cody. And Randy Orton pauses and hesitates. And he's like, oh, wow. Do I take advantage of this? And then he remembers all the stuff that Aleister Black said to him on SmackDown about hell, you're not being true to yourself. Be true to yourself. And he's got his good friend Cody Rhodes who's been cheap shotted. So what does Randy Orton do? He punts Cody in the head. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes, technically he turns heel on Cody Rhodes and wins the match. You could say it's a heel turn, a kind of half heel turn where he took advantage, but he actually punts him. That writes Cody off for a couple of weeks, not till WrestleMania. That gives Cody Rhodes an out. That gives a reason to put Cody in the main event because Drew McIntyre cost him it. And I think Drew McIntyre has actually ended up causing a rod for his own back. So I think it's going to end up being that Nick Aldis is going to say, okay, Orton, you won the match, but you only won the match because of Drew McIntyre's interference. And he'll add Cody to that match. And I also think, though it's going to be harder for them to do this next part, but if you look at some of the breadcrumbs, it's kind of looking like this anyway. Because Nick Aldis on SmackDown has been saying to Jacob Fatu, I'm sorry that Drew McIntyre keeps causing you stuff. I'm sorry. So I think Nick Aldis snaps on Drew McIntyre, says again and again, you keep interfering on all these matches again and again. So screw you, Drew McIntyre. Fatal 4-way for WrestleMania. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu.
Though, if it does go down that way, Nick is going to be beaten in RKO because Randy's going to be like, the fuck? You put me through the Elimination Chamber and now you're adding 2 more people to my match?
Yep.
Boom, RKO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, the bit I could be wrong at is that Orton doesn't turn heel and punt him. Orton just takes advantage. Orton could just take advantage. Is it heelish? Yes, but it's not a full heel turn. Then Cody can confront him the next night, next SmackDown, and say, "Orton, we're friends. Why did you take advantage?" And then Orton can just say, "You would have done the same to me." So Orton doesn't have to go the full heel route. Maybe that's more me wanting Orton to be a heel. Because then it is a fatal 4-way. You got 2 heels and 2 baby faces. Because Fatu's generally a baby face. At least they're pushing him as one. Cody, though people might want him to turn heel, he's not yet. He will, but not yet. Orton, I think, is long overdue for a heel turn. And then you've got McIntyre. So the other thing that I hope doesn't happen, the easy thing for them to do is just have Cody win.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to see Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre again. But they could still do that and try and do a similar thing for what I suggest and somehow add Fatu to that match by saying Drew. But for all of that to happen, Drew McIntyre has got to do something at the pay-per-view to piss off Nick Aldis. That's the only way that Fatu can get added to the match. Storyline wise, nothing else makes sense. He's got to piss off Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis can say, "You know what? Screw you, McIntyre. I'm gonna add Jacob Fatu to the match." So he needs to do something, and the thing that makes the most sense is for him to cost Cody, just like he did at the Royal Rumble. That makes the most sense. That's the only reason why I think Cody wouldn't win. But they could do, like I said, the obvious thing. Cody Rhodes just wins.
Please no.
Yeah, it'd be boring, and I'm hoping they don't. Alan, what do you think?
I agree. I think Randy Orton is actually going to win this. They've already laid the groundwork for Cody Rhodes not to be Drew's opponent. Drew's done everything he can to stop Cody Rhodes. He's eliminated him from the Rumble. I think he's going to come in. He's going to claymore him in the Elimination Chamber as soon as that door opens for the last time. Because Drew was going to look at Cody and think, do you know what? He could win this. He could, turn this around. So as soon as that door opens, someone's eliminated, straight in, claymore. And then whether Randy sees it and just sees Cody down and just puts an arm over him and covers him, or Drew drags him over and lays him on and and gets to cover that way. Yeah. And in terms of starts it, I have to agree with Jey Uso, because he wants to do that rewind shit, doesn't he? He loves to do that rewind shit. I'd rather him do it at the start of the match than to do it during the match. Yeah. Because that is getting old. That got old very quickly. You know,
Can't believe he did it in the Rumble, Alan.
in the Rumble
and,
of all time.
and in War Games. War Games, this big match of survival. He did it. He did it. I was out after that. I couldn't forgive him after War Games.
The worst one was the active Rumble. It was an active Rumble match. He stood on the second rope. Why no one thought, I'm just going to push him and get him out? Why did no one do that? Jeez, mentality. So yeah, I think Jey Uso starts. I think he's going to start with. I'm actually going to say LA Knight. I think he's going to start. I think it's going to be LA Knight and Jey Uso to start. I think. And yeah, I agree, Jay Evans. It's right for him to come in and start doing all this flippy shit, and then all of a sudden he just gets caught by Randy Orton with an RKO, and it's good night.
It's going to be something spectacular, Alan. It's going to be just a pitch. It's going to be something off. It'll be something off the cubicle or something.
Yeah, off one of the pods. Yeah,
off the pod, yeah.
He's gonna jump off the pod like a 450 something, and Randy's just gonna catch him RKO.
Yeah. Kind of an Evan Bourne-esque type one, wasn't it? Wasn't that?
It could be. Yeah.
Evan Bourne, he was good. He could fly. He really could.
Yeah.
I had a rumor going around, but I think that's been quashed now because of the whole thing on Raw, but with Brock Lesnar. The rumor going around was that the only reason G1 was put through is because he was going to be attacked on the way to the chamber and then replaced with Brock Lesnar. That's what I heard. I mean, but now they've done this open challenge thing. Now,
but it wouldn't be the first time. Do everybody remember? Was it Kofi Kingston?
He was attacked by Edge. That's
and
right.
Edge just jumps in the match.
2006, 2007, I think that was.
It's been done before.
Yeah,
it's not impossible.
So that's what I heard. I mean, if you look at the 6 guys in there, G1 is the one who doesn't belong in there. Sorry, he doesn't belong in there. He really doesn't. He's not chamber material. He's not ready. A couple of years, sure, but right now he's not ready for it. He's not ready. He's just he's got a kind of jobber look about him for me. I mean, you and me, Nick, we laughed at the 2K game. We played GM mode, and he had a promo skill of 1 out of 5.
Yes, yeah, he had 1 out. So did Obafemi. That's what makes it so funny. a year later, everyone's saying how great he is. It's like a year ago they had 1 out of 5. Not that 2K games are always correct.
Obafemi belongs in that chamber instead of Javon Evans.
I agree.
Yeah, he belongs in there. He's built for it, I reckon.
I'll tell you why he's not in there though. In my humble opinion,
don't want him to lose, do they? They don't want him to get
Yeah, they don't want to get pinned, do they?
Yeah. I think he's going to be fed. Lesnar's going to be fed to him. If Lesnar's planning to retire, I think Lesnar is going to be handing over.
Because Lesnar's retiring in summer, isn't he? That's going to be his last match.
Well, that's got gun. That's if they keep up the whole career killer thing. That's got Gunter written all over it. Then for SummerSlam,
Gunter's going to retire the Beast.
I don't think Gunter needs it. I think Gunter will be fed Ray. But I think if you're talking about the guy that ended the streak, all the stuff that they did at Manias with Brock Lesnar, and they're looking at Oba, and they're seeing him as the ruler, the destroyer, it would make sense that there'd be an element of a torch pass there, because Oba is the new Lesnar in terms of the way that they're trying to make him a monster.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
So is that Orton you're saying then, Alan?
I say Orton. I think they're going to push for a fatal 5-way at WrestleMania.
Okay, who's the last guy then?
Aleister Black. He beat Randy Orton on SmackDown, didn't he? That's what Black could say. He could say, "Do you know what? I beat your Elimination Chamber winner. I want in. I deserve to be in that match at WrestleMania."
I mean, you're right. He did beat Orton, but he's a long way off the mate in my mind. Yeah, I like Aleister Black, but I don't.
I think it add a bit of spice to the match. I mean, we've seen Cody versus Drew McIntyre tons of times before, but he's going to be in there because they want him because he sells tickets. Obviously, Randy Orton would have qualified. He would have got the actual shot to be there. As you said, the breadcrumbs have been laid for Jacob Fatu to be in there. So that's the 4. And Aleister Black could easily insert himself. And I think Aleister Black, he needs some sort of WrestleMania rub. I really think he does. I think he will benefit from it.
I think with Aleister Black, we probably need an element of a House of Black, where they become what the Wyatts are not. But like to build something with Aleister Black, it means that Triple H and the production team all of a sudden have to realize how to build a faction and how to have a longevity without going stale in a faction.
Yeah, that's
they haven't demonstrated
another
that
subject altogether. But yeah, they can't build a faction right now. That's all.
Okay, well, this leads on to the main event. I think probably maybe the most predictable out of all four of the matches, really.
Yeah, I agree.
CM Punk
Unfortunately.
defends against Finn Balor. I'll go first on this one because it's pretty simple. It goes with what I said earlier about AJ Lee. I 100% know in my mind, I 100% know executive producer Paul Levesque, AJ Lee on one turnbuckle, CM Punk on the other turnbuckle, holding up the championships. I'm so convinced that is going to happen. So it's a CM Punk win. Does he win cleanly? Probably. Outside chance of Dominic Mysterio mucking up. Because I think Finn Balor faces Dominic for the IC belt at WrestleMania. I think Finn Balor's about to turn face. If not tonight, if not at the show, then in the weeks before WrestleMania, he will be a babyface challenging and probably winning actually the IC title from Dominic at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you might as well.
That's what I think. Excuse me. That's what I think his future is.
Yeah,
so how do we get there though?
Yeah, because Dominic hasn't done anything, has he? He's held on to that title. When did he win it? He actually won it. He lost at WrestleMania, didn't he?
No, he lost it to Cena, then won it back from Cena at Survivor.
Oh, of course he did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course he did.
So
he hasn't defended it since then.
No, and the Judgment Day been on the cusp of breaking up a lot, and the Finn Balor Dominic actual storyline is actually quite a long storyline because they've fallen out numerous times, but they've never actually pulled the trigger on either one of them. And it looks like because of the reaction, as I'm sure Kev knows, Rebel knows, because of the reaction Balor got when they were in Dublin the other week on Raw, the world title match, him and Punk. I'm not sure they expected that reaction. They knew that Balor would be popular, but I don't think they probably expected the kind of babyface reaction Balor got. And I think that they're like, okay, we need to turn him back face now. So what we'll do is we'll give him another match with Punk. Already he started to kind of say about the Judgment Day about Punk. Balor's morality, as you can really tell, has already kind of shifted. He's already kind of in the halfway point already, but he's still with a heel faction. So it just takes one more thing to push him over the edge. I think that's going to be either he loses to Punk fairly, shakes his hand after the match and kind of like, and that is his proper babyface turn, or Dominic Mysterio tries to interfere, screws up, and then Balor can be like, what you doing, man? You ruined my chances, stuff like that. And then that's the babyface turn. But Punk wins. I'm like 99% sure Punk wins and retains the belt. I can't. Ain't going to be, with all due respect to Finn Balor, who I like, it's not going to be him versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So Punk wins. End of the night, him and AJ holding up their new titles. That's what I'm going with. Alan, do you want to go next? Because Balor's Kev's guy. So
of course, I have to agree. I can't see Balor getting past Punk. It's set in stone. Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Again, I like Balor. I think he's a great wrestler. I've seen a lot of his work in NXT, and obviously done a lot in Japan. I agree. It's going to be a screw finish. It's going to be Dominic Mysterio costing Balor the win. Good intentions and all that, but then we've been setting up this whole thing for months where, Dominic's screwed up for Finn Balor. And Finn Balor's always like, oh, well, okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Just, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But this time we'd be like, no, that's it. You screwed up my chance. That is it. You're done. I'm out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, if AJ Lee does win, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Opposite turnbuckles, holding up the titles. Produced by Paul Levesque. There we go.
Chicago crowd, obviously, they're going to be hot for those two. So, Kev, your boy, I don't think is winning, unfortunately, mate. What do you think?
I think there's an opportunity here. We had a crazy decision a number of years ago when Roman beat the Demon, when they put all that production, all that storyline into the beating heart coming on mid-match and basically the Demon reviving from the dead. And they mucked up with the way that they did that finish. They should have had the Demon win.
Yeah, agree.
There's an opportunity for the Demon to get redemption. Because the man that took the Demon's streak is the man that the winner of this match faces. I think it could possibly be the last element of heel work that Finn Balor actually does by taking the belt in a heel fashion off CM Punk in Chicago in front of his home people and causing an absolute shitstorm of chaos in the crowd as they watch their hero panned out in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. We get Demon versus the Tribal King one more time. They right the wrong to the Demon. And then we get Mr. Dom Dom and the next Raw punking him out and being the first defense for Balor the second defense for Balor and his World Championship, and Balor being ousted from the Judgment Day.
Interesting take. Yeah, I can see that.
It's
an interesting
I can't. Yeah, it is an interesting thing. I'll be shocked if they do it. I wouldn't say I'd be against it, but I would be shocked if they do it, because you want to know why I'd be shocked? Because Michael Cole's already been towing the company line. Every chance Michael Cole gets, he says, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, perhaps the biggest main event in WrestleMania history. Firstly, as much as I love CM Punk, it's nowhere near the biggest match in WrestleMania main event in history. Okay. No. It's not even top 10, if I'm honest. It's not. So that's the lie. But the fact that Michael Cole's already started the Hyper Bowl, that suggests to me that they ain't in it. They are not switching that match for neither love nor money. But I understand why you feel that way, Rebel, and I think it would be interesting to do. But I just do not think that they are. No, if ticket sales are already bad enough as it is, unless there's been like an executive decision meeting and it's just like we need to tear up the whole script, and I just can't see him doing it. But
I do have one tweak that could possibly, because I know there's a whole thing about Punk and main events of WrestleMania, and that they have. And he's never got to main event WrestleMania and whatnot and all that. There could still be an opportunity for Punk to drop the belt to Balor and get his rematch clause and making it a triple threat. Now that means we don't get the Demon redemption arc that I talked about, and possibly Balor immediately losing the belt again at Mania because maybe Dom Dom takes him out and sets up that arc, and then you literally have your 1-on-1 with Balor out of the game because Dom Dom and JD punked him during part of the match. I just don't think it's going to be as clear. It's very obvious is my problem to have AJ Lee and CM Punk both winning. I don't think anybody would care about what happens in the AJ Lee Becky Lynch match, with all due respect to it, because it's not supposed to be in there. It's a Mania match. So yeah, there is an opportunity for something shocking. Whether they do it in one of the chamber matches or whether they do it with Balor, I just don't think you can rule out Balor not walking out as world champion, because I think the damage that they would do to Balor by having him lose far outweighs the reaction to the crowd seeing their boy lose.
Well, you heard it there. A very outside of the box from Kev. We'll have to wait and see. So that's me and Alan for Punk and Rebel for Finn Balor. I guess that's it, unless anyone's got anything else. Are we expecting any surprise return? You know how they love TKO love doing these surprises. Every show there's got to be a surprise return. Are we expecting any kind of? I mean, Alan said maybe Lesnar's going to be there. I wouldn't call that a surprise return, but are we expecting what? Is Jericho going to show up in any form?
No.
Are we expecting anything like this?
No, unless a deal's been made with AEW like they did with Andrade. I don't see Jericho being in anytime soon. I don't know how long his contract's been frozen for. Could be SummerSlam, could be War Games. But yeah, we're not going to see Jericho anytime soon.
I do have one theory of a return. And I think it would fit in the Punk match. Two former members of Bullet Club that we saw in AJ Styles' retirement.
Oh, the Good Brothers.
Bingo.
Ah. But I was actually surprised to see Carl Anderson there. Didn't he talk shit about Trips?
It's something to do with the contracts, wasn't it? Yeah. He said something about the contracts not long ago. I guess, well, they're not hiring him back. I guess it was, AJ wanted him, so it's like, fine. Just
And
saying
they're TNA, so there's that kind of brand exchange. And I wouldn't be surprised if they used them in a Bullet Club capacity.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Right. Well, I guess that does it. A quick plug before we go. As of right now, Com is said he's going to do the live watch along of Elimination Chamber on Saturday. Well, for us, it'll be Sunday morning. And I think myself and Alan may be joining him. Rebel, you're more than welcome, but I don't know if you can make it, sir. But me and Alan might be able to make it. So you might get a live stream with 3 of us if it goes ahead. So if so, then we'll be watching it live with the rest of you. So come join us. Put Netflix on in the background. Listen to us all have a laugh at it. But I want to thank Alan and Rebel for joining me today. Remember to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we will be back next week at 7 p.m. I believe that's meant to be the normal time. So we'll come up with another topic for next week. But if you guys want to say goodbye,
See you later.
Arrivederci.
what a maneuver!
Yeah.
Yeah, where's your lexicon? Yeah. Take care, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.